Today, we are coming to you with another Baseball Strong. And you know something? Where are we coming from today? Jose, can you hear us in the
Oh,
house there?
yeah. I got you. I got you.
Well, Jose,
But today
you
I'm in
are
Puerto Rico.
live. You are coming from where?
I'm from Puerto Rico.
Oh, you're in
I
Puerto Rico today. Okay, cool. How's the tournament coming?
well, right now we're 2-1. Team Cuba, which is the team that I'm working with, lost to my home country of Puerto Rico yesterday. We lost 4-1.
Wow.
We have one more game tomorrow against Canada. If we win, we go on to Houston to continue the tournament. If not, we go home. But right now I'm in my hotel room in Puerto Rico. We had an off day, and so um, coming at you from Puerto Rico with another topic that is very dear to my heart. So
Awesome.
uh, let's get into it. What do you think, Kevin?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And now I know what to pray for. Like, I want to see you successful out there.
Yeah. So this is a topic that is very I think it's very important and it's very dear to my heart, and it's my prayer that at least it helps at least one kid or one parent that to save one arm. If I can save one arm with this topic, that'd be good. That'd be great. So, all right, enough of that. So let's get started. So today's message is more of a question. Can you sustain fastball velocity after you've done one of these velocity programs? Today's game, it's all about speed and power, and it shows. If you look at all the teams in the World Baseball Classic, these guys are really big and they throw really hard and they hit the ball really far. And that's the way of the game. Bigger, faster, stronger. So it's not gonna change. I would say guys are gonna get stronger and faster, just like if you compare the guys from the 70s to the guys of today. Today's baseball players are giants compared to those guys. So right now there's a topic up in baseball is about fastball velocity and all the velocity gaining programs. There's a lot of companies out there, a lot of training facilities out there that promote uh, training to throw harder. That is the name of the game. I get it. And my point to this conversation today is not about being controversial or talking against these businesses or these training facilities that train kids and train players to throw harder. It is to put the idea in parents and high school age athletes that if you're going to do this, if you're going to a training facility and if you're training to gain fastball velocity, you have to question whether you can sustain that. And so what I want to talk about today is, you know, can you sustain it? What does the research say? Can you sustain fastball velocity if you have trained, so you went somewhere for 3 months and now you start the season. Can you sustain that? Um, and then the other thing I want to put in your head is if you went to a facility, if you trained hard and you gained, let's say, 2 to 4 miles an hour on your fastball, did you sustain it? And so what you got to ask yourself is, did you improve your performance or did you learn something new? Did you increase velocity and you did well in for a couple of months, or did you maintain that and has that become part of your new pitching repertoire, so to speak? Have you learned the new skill that will help you maintain this fastball velocity? Fastball velocity, you can go somewhere and you train for 2, 3 months and it'll jump fast. I mean, you see it on social media. You see kids throwing against the wall, and you see the radar gun on the wall, and you have high school kids that go in there throwing 82 miles an hour and they walk out of there throwing 92. Great. You know, that's awesome. I mean, good for you. But the reality of it is research and from what I've seen, that is not sustainable. And it's not sustainable for different reasons that sometimes we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about when you sign up for these programs and you pay the money and you're going to go through this training program for 3 or 4 months. No one tells you that you may lose your fastball, that the fastball velocity that you gain, you're going to lose it 2 or 3 months down the road. Nobody tells you that. And so, what I want to say is it's okay to do it. I'm not against it, but know that you may lose it down the road. And it's not because it wasn't a bad program or it wasn't because it was a bad facility or a bad trainer. It's just because your body is not capable of sustaining that unless you do certain things. And I will share some of those things, but the reality is that it takes a lot longer than 3 to 4 months to gain a sustainable velocity. Uh, One of the things that uh, people forget to talk about is that their nervous system will take this new skill, and if you're a good athlete, you'll take to it, you'll do it quickly, but and your velocity will jump. But what happens is your body's work capacity has not increased. Your nervous system has, adapted to a new style of throwing, a little bit harder, you're a little stronger. But in order to develop work capacity, it takes time. It's not just a matter of 3 to 4 months. Building work capacity in baseball and throwing a fastball, it takes years. And so that's what you don't get, or what most kids or parents don't get when they sign up for these things. And it's because if they tell you that, you're gonna feel like you're losing your money, or you're spending your money on something that's not gonna work. It works. It's just not sustainable like you think it is. Number one. Um, why do those things? Why is your new fastball velocity not sustainable? Number one, velocity peaks faster than you can build your engine. Like I said, in a short block of time, 6 to 8 weeks, you can improve your intent. You can throw hard. You can do all these sequencing timing drills. You can do all these weighted ball drills, and your velocity will jump real quick. But in order to build the engine or the body that sustain that velocity, it takes a lot longer than 6 to 8 weeks. Another thing that happens is detraining. Okay. So what does that mean? So you're in the off season, you go to a training facility, you train really, really hard, you go home, you rest, everything is good, you get plenty of rest, it's not very stressful because you're not playing. Now the season begins. Now you're not doing the same amount of work with the same intent that you were doing in the off season. So now the season begins. And so there is stress, there is wins and losses, there is lack of sleep. If you're a college player and you travel, there's going to be issues there. If you're a high school athlete, you got school, you're at school all day, 7, 8 hours, and then you go play a game at night. All those things are added stress that are going to detrain your body and take energy away from your body. And so the way that you felt in the off season is not the same way you're going to feel in season. And so your body's going to start detraining, and you're going to slowly lose that because your ability to produce force is going to go down in season no matter what. Baseball is one of those sports that uh, as the season goes on, you get in worse shape. Your arm may get used to throwing, yes, but we all get weaker. Our muscle size goes down. It's just one of those sports that's just the way the game is. As the season goes on, you start detraining. Number three, fatigue sets in. It kind of goes on to what I just said. The amount of work goes up. So off season, you weren't doing anything, maybe just throwing bullpens. Now in season, so you're starting to throw 3 innings, then you start throwing 4 innings, then 5 innings, and so on and so on. So as the season goes on, your workload goes up. So unless you're really, really diligent with your nutrition, with your sleep, with your recovery, you're going to start fatiguing. So your ability to manage the workload is going to go down. The body is very, very smart. The body is really not going to talk to you and say, hey, you know what, you're throwing too hard. We're going to take some time off. The body will start slowly protecting itself and kind of start pulling back, putting on the brakes, and your intentions of throwing really, really hard, the body's going to start trying to protect itself and it's going to draw back a little bit and it's going to self-regulate and it's going to start pulling back on that. And then you're going to notice, oh, wait a minute, I'm not throwing as hard. Well, because the body's trying to protect itself. It's not going to let you do more than you're capable of doing. Um, Another reason, a lot of these programs or a lot of these training methodologies, they borrow uh, stability and mobility from certain areas of the body in order to gain velocity. There are many studies, there are some studies of people that I personally know that when you go through these weighted ball programs and these fastball velocity programs, there some of the reasons why you gain velocity is because you gain external rotation at the shoulder. You need a certain amount of external rotation. You need a little bit of uh, added rotation so you can get back there and load more so you can throw the ball a little harder. But eventually, that extra mobility and stability that you're sacrificing could cause you problems down the road. And eventually, like I said, the body's going to self-regulate. It's either going to stop you or break. The other part is it's a trade-off. If you're a, well, let me say it this way. Every athlete is risking their body. The body is constantly, um, I'm sorry, we're putting our bodies at risk every time we do something. When we throw the ball, when we, excuse me a second, my computer is just beginning to send messages. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Kevin,
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Can you hear me? Jose, can you hear me?
anyways, um, every time we play a sport, we risk our bodies. And so when we throw a baseball, every time you throw a baseball, you're risking your shoulder. So you gotta tell yourself how far am I willing to go? How much do I want to expose my body or risk my body to gain the fastball velocity that I think is going to get me to the next level? So it's a trade-off. And always remember, the harder you throw, the lesser your pitching capacity. That's why in the big leagues nowadays, starters only go 4 to 5 innings because they throw so hard. It's not like the old days where pitchers would go complete games all the time and 7, 8 innings because they weren't throwing that hard. But nowadays they're throwing so hard that they can't sustain that level of intensity for that long. Um, One of the reasons why there's people don't talk about this is because there's not a lot of research about how sustainable is this new gain velocity. Number one of the reasons there's no studies about that because professional baseball players are not going to risk their bodies for research. I experienced that as a professional strength coach. Uh, Guys don't want to be part of research. Number two, every research study that's been done it's always been on how much velocity can I get? How fast can I get it? No one ever does a study after the fact. All right, I went through a training program. How how long was I able to sustain that fastball? Was it 3 months, 6 months, a year? Most studies, I have one here that one study did a post program 6 to 15 weeks after their velocity gaining program. So honestly, one of the reasons why people don't talk about this, there's not a lot of research, but there's a lot of research that if you do certain things in a period of 6 to 8 weeks, you're gonna gain velocity, and it's gonna make you feel good, and perhaps you make the team or you take it to the next level. But no one ever does any studies on how long does that last. But what I'm seeing and what everybody's seeing is that this fascination with faster velocity is causing a lot of injuries. I mean, it's all over the news all the time. If you open up social media, somebody's always hurt. So and so hurt themselves yesterday. Uh, he went to this place and he trained really, really hard and he was getting better. Now he's throwing 100 miles an hour and now he's hurt. Well, guess what he's not doing? He's not pitching. So again, my point to this conversation is not to criticize these facilities. Everybody needs training. Everybody is looking for an edge. Everybody's looking for technology that helps them uh, go through sound and progressive programs. But I just want to warn you, buyer beware. You get into this, you're risking injury. And so, um, one of the things that research does say that perhaps gives you a chance to survive, to survive this epidemic of injuries is you have to commit to year-round training. That does not mean that you throw hard all year round. That doesn't mean that you can't take a few weeks off of throwing or a month or two of throwing. That's not what I mean. But if you want to gain velocity and if you want to maintain it, it's not a 6 to 8 week program and then I play the season and then now I throw harder than I did the year before. It's a commitment. You got to commit to training your body, constantly being able to listen to your body. Your lifestyle has to change. If you really, really want to have a healthy shoulder, you have to train all year round. Otherwise, the body is going to self-regulate and it's going to go back to its previous state. So you have to commit. Uh, Number two, you gotta learn to measure your workload. One of the things that I firmly believe you the athlete, you yourself, you are responsible for your health, not the trainers, not the doctors, not the strength coaches. The athlete is the one that is most responsible for their health. Because nowadays there's no excuse to not have information. Right now, there's no excuse to not have a trainer or not to be able to find someone reputable that can help you with your program. To me, there's no excuse. So as an athlete, you have to learn how to self-regulate, how to modify, how to adjust, how to measure your workload. You got to be able to tell yourself, okay, I'm a little sore today. I'm going to get extra treatment. I don't feel very good today. I'm going to get a little extra sleep. Hey, I don't feel good today. I want to make sure that I drink plenty of water. Lately I haven't been eating good, so maybe I need to clean up my diet. So you have to be able to monitor yourself because no one is going to do it for you. No one knows what you feel except for you, the athlete. So you got to learn how to manage your workload. Another thing too about throwing is, or about when you're trying to improve some sort of athletic skill, you have to do it with intensity. You have to do it with max effort. Max effort, I'm gonna try to say this, it's like medicine. You have to have the right dosage. So for example, if you go to the doctor and he tells you you need to take this medicine once a day, 10 milligrams a day for 3 weeks, if you miss that, if you don't take the right dosage, the medicine is not going to do the right thing. So max effort throwing is like a dosage. You can't do it every day. You can't do it all year round, but you can plan ahead and have days where today is a max effort day. I'm going to throw at a certain distance, at a certain percentage of intensity, and then I'm going to recover tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to back off, and then next week I'm going to do this X, Y, Z. So in order to throw hard, I mean, in order to maintain velocity, you have to throw hard. It is what it is. You have to have max effort throwing. It is what it is. But you need to learn what the right dosage is for you. Now, I would say most athletes don't know what that dosage is. So you need to find maybe a pitching coach. You need to have someone that you can talk to, someone that can help you program. But you have to have, you need to consider that as a dosage. You plug it in at certain strategic times throughout the year, throughout the month, in order to maintain that velocity. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself if you throw hard all the time without any kind of plan. Um, Implement some variation. There's all kinds of programs where you overload, underload, you throw heavier balls, you throw lighter balls. Um, you know, there's a lot of programs like that. And again, be smart, but those things work. But again, it's like a medicine. The right dosage will help you. The wrong dosage can hurt you. Um, okay, so what does research say about sustaining skill, maintaining skill? Motor learning and skill retention gives us a useful framework to understand throwing a fastball harder, meaning a force-dependent skill, and it teaches us how to understand whether I'm doing the right things or not, whether I'm getting the right results or not. So the concept is the difference between a performance change and a true motor learning change. So what does that mean? Okay. So I go to a facility, I train for 3 months. Now I'm throwing 4 miles an hour harder. If after the first month my velocity went down, all I did was just improve my performance. If I maintained that velocity throughout the whole season, then maybe my body learned how to throw the baseball properly. Maybe I got strong enough to generate the right amount of force through my body to throw that fastball correctly. So the difference is if I don't sustain it, perhaps I just had a lucky month or I had, my performance improved for a short period of time. But if I kept it for the whole season, perhaps my body retained it, my brain, I developed the right muscle memory, as people say, and now I am able to move my body the right way in the right direction. And so I feel like if you get that result, if you get that sustainability, then you can truly say, oh, my program, what I did really worked. So perhaps that is something that I want to repeat. If I didn't get that change, then perhaps I need to reconsider some things, you know, how I did it, how hard I did it, what other factors were involved. And so just remember that if you go trying to get velocity, if you maintain it, you did it correctly. If you didn't maintain it, you're either going to get hurt or you're going to be disappointed. So that's just kind of like a quick takeaway. I don't want to get too deep on the idea of motor control and how we acquire skill because that's another can of worms that I don't want to open up. So, uh, you know, So motor learning is defined by the permanent change in the ability to perform something that you've learned. Okay. So if it disappears quickly, you really didn't learn it. Couple of other things, kind of getting close to the end. I don't want to go too deep into this. I just want to put the idea. I want to give you some tips. Everything that I talk about, I want to keep it as shallow as possible because I want people to get ideas because all of this stuff requires your own research, putting in the time. And baseball is not easy. Baseball is not easy, and it requires a lot of effort on everybody's part. But in my opinion, if you want to be a good baseball player, the athlete, or perhaps the parent together, you guys got to do a little research. Um, couple of things just to keep in mind. Um, when you're trying to gain velocity, there's two things that you got to consider is the motor learning, which means your coordination, your timing, your sequencing, your efficiency of movement. And the other part of that is the physiological capacity, meaning force production, tendon stiffness, power output, elastic energy. In layman's terms, what does that mean? Motor control is coordination. Did you did you did you learn the skill? Can you coordinate the movement? Does it look graceful? Um, you know, just like a foal comes out of a mare. The foal is falling all over the place. That's not graceful. But after time, it starts walking smoothly, and next thing you know, you got a stallion. So think about the motor learning as coordination. And physiological capacity means can you produce force? Are you strong? Do you have the strength to produce that graceful, efficient movement? Um, so again, when it comes to maintaining, sustaining a fastball, it's it can be a very complicated process if you don't think about it the right way. But at the very least, think about two things: coordination and strength. Let's just kind of keep it at that. Um, in closing, a couple things I want to throw out there as I get ready to close. So next time, I'd like to discuss a few things that I know I have seen many good players do and guys that really threw hard, guys that maintain their work capacity over the years is you got to get strong. Your lower body, you need to learn how to produce force. Number two, you got to learn how to rotate your upper body, your lower body in a sequence, and it's got to be efficient, but it has to be fast. And then number three is your mechanics, your sequencing, your timing. Each body part has a step. There's usually for the best players out there. There's always some outliers, some guys that are weird, but for the best guys, there's always a very common sequence in the way they move, the way they throw the baseball, the way they swing the bat. All right. In closing, gaining velocity is part of the game. So I'm not downplaying it. You need it. You want to make it to the next level, you got to throw hard. Uh, but the reality of it is, not everybody survives the these programs. So if you choose to do a velocity uh, program, choose wisely, do it responsibly. This is Jose Vasquez for Baseball Strong. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Stream over. I went ahead and ended it on that. That was good. That was good. Instead of closing out on